What is up, Workbringer here, and today I'm bringing you a run of Spires of Ascension plus 13. So this is the highest key that I've pushed for this dungeon, so that is fun. And it is Fortified, Quaking, and Sanguine. I don't think in that order. I have been getting used to this affix. I believe my first video was something along the lines that I hate it, and I do. It really hurts. When you step in the Sanguine, you die. However, in this place, it's not really so bad at all. And also, our healer is pretty strong. I don't look at their gear level, but everyone here is kind of like in the like, I think I'm like the lowest IO in this room, so I think I'm like 940, 950 at this point. Something like that. And I don't know, I was hovering over some of the other people and just generally how easy this dungeon was. I think they're in the 1100 range. Like I think a lot of them are doing 15s or something, and this one's kind of just like a chill. Like for me, if I do 10s now, it's pretty chill, and I don't really care if I time or not. I mean, we usually do, but it's just like damage isn't too bad. Just get to have a little bit of fun, you know, do the dance, but like nothing like too try hard on a 10. So I get the feeling that for a lot of the people in this group, this is that scenario, and it goes very smoothly. Not a lot to report. But what I would say as far as like if you're looking into tanking, like I think we call these like middle keys basically. Like 10 to 14 is middle, and then 15 to 20 is higher, and I guess people go higher than that. Again, I don't really know. But if you're doing like mid keys, like, you know, 10 to 14, which is like kind of my focus right now, is that it's not really all that much about your gear as a tank, though I am 213 now. So, you know, the stamina's up there, and I flask for stamina and everything. But it really is about the group, and it always has been, I suppose. But if you're dying, you know, to just tanking normally, it's possible that two things are happening. One, your healer isn't geared enough, or they're not taking the pull seriously enough to give you some cooldowns. Or you're not using cooldowns, which is possible because, you know, Fortified 12 is where, you know, your normal trash mob might require you to use like Guardian of the Ancient Kings like I've used already, right? So you got to take it seriously. You got to use the cooldowns right away as a Prot Paladin. And your healer should also be taking it seriously because, you know, 5 fortified mobs, they will just eat you. It's very easy to die, especially on like Mysatyrna's Scythe, the second pull. I die there all the time. And I would say the other thing that can happen is if your group isn't kicking, right? And there's these magical casts going off, that's not going to go well. And third, and probably most importantly, if the DPS is too low, the mobs live too long. And you die because the mobs live way too long. And, you know, you only have your cooldowns for certain spells. There's so many, I mean, there's probably enough kicks to go around. I think this one goes off. Did I get that? Wow. But those are the things that play. And as the expansion has gone on longer, I forget where we're at now. I stopped making my like weekly video updates. I think we're like right at the 4th month, right? Or 4th month, the 4th week, something like that. So I think this is like the first like month of the expansion. And so when you're on looking for group raid finder situation, there's just a lot more geared people out there, so it just makes it easier versus like even, you know, 1 or 2 weeks ago, the general pug that was doing like an 11 was not really geared for it, whereas in this case I believe our shaman and I think a lot of the DPS in this group and healer, like they've done higher than 12 here, right? So they're just kind of like picking it up. I don't know why they're doing it. Maybe for gear, maybe for fun, but it's a much different feeling as a tank when the group has enough damage to deal with the trash correctly versus being under geared. I guess that's what I'm saying, and I suppose that's obvious, but if you've been tanking and you've been watching me tank and learn how to tank, because I'm still awful and very much learning it, pushing into 10s and 11s has been really, really hard for me, and I think a lot of it's because the groups haven't been geared for it, and neither have I, and then my strats are wrong, etc., etc. So that's something that I'm noticing now, and now I do see this like link between them, and I run into it. I'm a bad person. I think I got swift mended there. I healed myself. I don't know. Not my finest tanking of this. And on Fortified, that overhead slash doesn't actually kill me, though I think it would. On a 12 Tyrannical, I think I would possibly be dead without like some sort of like actual cooldown mitigation going down, or Iron Bark or something pretty strong. But it's something I've been noticing about pugs lately is that like 12s and even 13s, as long as we wait for the right people, which is, there's a gear level, you know, that's kind of associated with it, but also just an IO, really. It just shows like experience and knowledge of the dungeon at this higher key. And so me as a tank, I'm pretty close to getting to 1,000, which is a goal of mine. Doesn't actually mean much. Yeah, I Divine Shield that. I Divine Shield it because they're all out now, right? So once they're all out of stealth, we have no Hunter. I think they're patrolling too, so you never actually know. There's a nice Ursul's Vortex, right? Taking them back. And the blood barrier is just going away now, so we gotta kill these for a while. And I need to kite them. If I sit there and face tank without, like... I mean, I think this burns all my cooldowns. Yeah, there was Divine Shield. Here is now Guardians, just in case I feel like sitting, like they hit me at all. I just don't want to die. Right? And then I'm probably going to use Ardens eventually. So this took all my cooldowns for these 2 packs of Lions, and that's Fortified. It feels very similar to Halls of Atonement when you're kiting the bears, and Lord forbid they actually enrage. You are dead. Like, you are gonna die. And so I try to do my best. I forget, I did share the route, but again, I think people are just like, whatever, they just want to roll through this. I did share the route. I didn't say specifically like don't take the flight path, but I do pull him away, and so I think the mage jumps on the flight path. Everyone else kind of realizes that I am not. And you can go right. It's just kind of, I'm looking at the mage. I think you can flight path back, but they request a portal. They want to be summoned, and I'm like, I don't think I saw that, the request to summon, until after. So this part's a little sketch. You can LOS it. I might try the LOS next time, but they still just end up flying around anyway, so this is what I do. Something like permanently sapping the rogue, the one in the back is an okay idea. I try to hodge the one I'm on every once in a while, and maybe a focus target would be good. It's like, let's all kill one of them, but it's pretty chunky damage, you'll see, when it hits like a clothy. Or even like I'm looking at the Ellie Shaman getting hit, it's like 20% of their health. So it's, you know, gives the Resto Druid something to do for sure. But at least I'm being patient, and they will always jump away from where I am. So I don't give them the opportunity to jump into another pack, for instance, right? And the healer has enough mastery and whatnot and gear to heal through this. It's not a big deal. I have done this pull at you know, mid keys like 10 and 11, and the healers like are panicking. It's pretty, they're not happy during that phase. So here comes a warlock summon, and yeah, I'm enjoying my time now. I think that I have not pushed a 14 this week, even though it's push week and Fortified. I just haven't done it. I think the IO's not quite there yet either. Nor have I done a 15. I probably could if, like, this group probably could have gone on to do it, but I still just haven't. But I'm just getting comfortable with all the dungeons, tanking them, getting confident on the Pride route, and just still staying in, like, the mid keys, very confidently mid, you know, 10, 11, 12, 13 being the higher end, which I do right after this with this group. And just try to get the mechanics down of Pride, right? So I'm still very happy to be in that. And I think in another week, I don't know about Tyrannical, but I think the week after that, with a little bit more gear from the Great Vault, and just having hopefully cleared all the dungeons at like 11 and 12, which will put me at about 1,000 if I do that. 1,000 IO. I'm losing threat to the Elemental. It's I think it's only Frost and Arcane mages that can do that? I'm not so sure. I don't think Fire mages have that. That would be pretty OP if they had like a taunt pet and a... I think we're about to eat a torpedo here. No, I move. That would be pretty OP if they had a taunt pet and combust and all that other stuff. But mage is real good. I'm doing a significant amount of off healing, but our Resto Druid is geared enough. And it's a huge difference as a tank to have a Resto Druid that's geared appropriately for the damage of the instance, because you just don't have to heal that much. I guess that's obvious. But yeah, you're just not dying as hard out there. Because Resto Druids, you know, once they have enough gear and mastery, it's all HOTS. So you just have this constant flow of healing. And so once they can out-heal, you know, your normal... Wow, that mage blew that up. Once they can out-heal like the normal amount of damage, then it's all easy. So I get stunned, and it's a bit of a mess here, but I somehow pull this together. Nice CC. They're helping out. I have just completely lost aggro because I got stunned out of the gate, you know. So I'm not really sure like what the move is to. Oh yeah, I'm getting aggro back slowly. I'm not sure what the move is to like handle that, to be honest, with that cat. I guess I need to kind of run in and like consecrate him out, something like that. But it stabilizes. I think the biggest compliment I take from this run is the well-geared elemental shaman says, "Thanks for the smooth run," but then something along the lines of like, "I'm gonna go do some real keys," which is, I'm like, cool, thanks for coming, appreciate it, thanks for the deeps. But you know, just to be like, you know, I don't think we did any full wipes, so I was like, yeah, cool, I'm happy with that as a tank, right? I knew the route. Spires, I know it very well now. Oh no, there is some issue, but it really is the it's someone that doesn't know the skip. So very good CC. This is just a 3-pack. This is just a preview of what's gonna come. So I pick up the spear, which is my job, and I'm losing the threat right now, and I'm trying to get the threat back because these things rock. So I hodge it and just try to get threat so that we could do this. Yeah. So what happened is I went and got the spear, and then I was losing threat, essentially. Everyone's popping off DPS wise, and I'm you know, I got the spear, so it was a little sketchy. Maybe I should have just gone into attack mode and then the spear. I don't know, whatever. I wanted to get the spear so we could just keep it moving. Lost a little aggro, but everything's completely fine. Just cleaning these up. And yeah, I guess this is obvious, but when you're geared and the group is geared, a 12 feels like a 10, you know? It feels like an 8. Like, it's not that bad at all. I don't fear for my life super hard. And that's a cool place to be. I can imagine, I mean, I hope, oh, I get stunned again, rip. I burned Divine Shield to get out. That was a mistake. But maybe it's not, because I get to get aggro and face tank for just a bit. I'm probably going to go directly into Guardians of the Ancient Kings. There's no need to mess around here. I don't know why I'm not. I must be preparing to kite or go to no, I'm just kiting. It's sketchy though, because they can hit you in the back when you're doing that, and it's an ouch. But yeah, look at the DPS just melting him. I mean, yeah, the LE Shaman is pretty pumping, and so is the Warlock. Just everyone's pumping, right? So they're just dying, and that's the difference. I think I haven't made the video on it yet, so it'll come out later, but I did a Necrotic Wake 12, I believe, and I wasn't that happy with the run. We have an unlucky Pride spawns all the way in the back, rip. I gotta go all the way back down there to get him. But it was the healer's key, and I showed up pretty early, and we waited for like 20 minutes to get the DPS that they wanted, and it was like, its gear level is like kind of the minimum requirement, but we really wanted like basically like 1,000 IO DPS. It just makes it easier. He wanted to +2 it. I believe we did +2 it, actually. I forget. But you bring DPS like this to like, you know, an 11 and a 12, and it's good night. You just finish it. It's like really my party to lose here. So I'm gonna pull this one back. You've probably seen this if you've seen any of my other ones. We're gonna need to silence him. Boop. I know this dance, and then we're gonna drop Divine Toll, and I can face tank this pack pretty easy. if people help a little bit with the stuns. Now, I could be probably interrupting those, but I'm saving it for that. That's my job. I'm pretty sure every group is expecting the tank. Okay, so this is unfortunate. I rate F. F's in chat when this happened. He's just healing to full. He just healed to full. So, you know, whose fault is that? I don't know. It's when you're phase tanking, which is like what you want so that everyone can, you know, drop their spells in a circle. Well, if everything just melts, then you have this guy who just sits still for like, you know, 5 seconds to recharges. So we're melting. I don't have to ask for any CC in this group. I think that request would have been denied. Very floppy pull here. You see I have no shield until now. There we go. Floppy pull. And it is tough for me to hold threat when this level of DPS is popping off. Like, I'm losing threat to that back there. Luckily, that doesn't do very much damage anymore, even on Fortified. That didn't. I cannot keep threat on this Inquisitor, and they're coming. They're coming for you. I'm trying. I think they're gonna try to fear him or something like that. Oh, they hexed him. That's my bad. You know, I'm trying to keep the squad leader not facing the raid, like for that, essentially, which is only straight now. I think it used to do like all 4 directions around them. But anyway, DPS is strong. Like, I guess looks like the Warlock. Someone's popping off, and yeah, I can't. When I'm just doing like cleavy AOE threat, I can't keep it. But you know, it's been completely fine so far. Yeah, very, very clean actually. This is a pretty smooth run. There's just one situation where did it say that our druid has done 15s? It would seem so. It would seem like it. Yeah, I think everyone's like very like 900 to 1,000, and if not higher, especially on their mains. So we're just gonna full run into this one. I don't have toll, but we're gonna drop the sauce. Luckily, we get everyone very clean. Sometimes the squad leader or the praetor like in the air, and they kind of jump down, which is kind of awkward. Quaking is a thing. And so now they're all back. We did some good damage, but we're not out of the woods yet. I'm pretty sure I get chunked to 50 and then I Divine Shield. Oh yeah. That was me sensing death. There it is. So reestablishing aggro, let everyone do the full sauce on them. And I think this is the point where I think I don't really know Elemental Shaman spells. I think the Elemental Shaman was sad that I pulled him out of, I think he said his Earthquake. That must have been like those lines on the ground. I'm not all that familiar with that. Like, I know what a Fire Mage combusting looks like. I know what a Flame Strike looks like because I've played a little bit of Fire Mage. I don't really know what it looks like when an Elemental Shaman's popping off, but he was sad. That must be what that brown stuff is on the ground. I don't know what that is. But I think I pulled the pack out of like his like big AoE, and he was sad about it. I was like, sorry. It's also Sanguine, you know, so it's Sanguine quaking. Oh, there. I think he might have been sad there. But I mean, it's quaking Sanguine. But maybe he wasn't like mad at me. He was just like, that's just how it goes, though. You know. I was like, I'd rather not wipe than stay for the perfect stuff. Anyway, I guess that's something I should look for more when I'm playing with Elemental Shamans. Like, when I know Covenant abilities is very obvious. If you see a big red circle or a big blue circle, you know, you try to keep the mobs like in it in general. But you know, oh boy, oh that was a dance. But yeah, in general, I have no idea what's going on with an Elemental Shaman's ground abilities. So I have a new way of doing this, having run this quite a while. And the thought is that that must be that ground stuff. Yeah, that must be the Elemental Shaman. But this boss is gonna melt because everyone's popping off. So he left that black circle on the ground, right? And right now it's just shooting them off in a very predictable pattern, yet people are still getting hit. And I tank him right back on top of that circle. And so I just have to spin in a circle, and not a big deal. And now there's 2 of them there, right? But you can still see the pattern, right? It's kind of easy. And so what's going to happen, we don't make it to that phase because everyone popped off and destroyed them. What will happen on Tyrannical is that all of the explosions will be coming from one source. And I do get the jump travel, which is nice because then that allows me to come pick up the spear, save a little time. People don't have to wait for me. And basically putting all the circles in one side of the room Makes it a little bit easier when they go into recharge phase if you pull them away from it, because they're all coming from one source. Now, it doesn't matter if you get into 3 phases of that. It's good night. On Tyrannical, you're going to have Pride, you're going to save Lust, and you either bring enough DPS to burn that down in less than 3 phases, or it's just like dicey. Like, no one can dodge, right? Like, what is it going to be, like 6 of those things going down? If there's 6 of those shooting off in all directions, you're just not gonna, people are gonna die. So if someone does this wrong, it is a little tricky. You want to jump over the flame situation, then go up here. Who pulled the lock? Was it their pet? I don't know what happened. The lock pulled, and they're dying. And I'm trying to understand. I'm like trying to make the call about what to do here, because this can be the pull. This can be the run being good or bad. And the call, I'm looking to like, I'm like, am I supposed to engage with this? Do you want me to die? And the call is that, see, I'm thinking about it, but I'm still LOS. Like, they can't see me. The call is to just let those 3 die and then we res, right? Because we're still close enough. And I'm like, okay, not so bad. Not my fault either. Someone messed up that skip, you know? Maybe they're used to having a rogue, but I think it's very common to skip this on Fortified. This stuff is bad. Those packs suck on Fortified. So this is the first time I've done this, is that what happens is if you only pull the right 2, like honestly just that one, it does take me a second to get the second one over. You can LOS them over. They'll look at the Justicar. I don't know what's going up with that. I think they're targeting someone else. Anyway, you're supposed to LOS these over here. I don't know what's going on. There they go. So you LOS these 2 over, and then the Goliath's Forsworn punch, Rebellious Fist, is too far away to get us, and we're also LOSing it. So I wonder if that's ever going to get nerfed or going to get changed, but that's the strat for this. You can also skip this pack with a Warlock, but I use it for count to do my Pride on Angel, which I've figured out how to do pretty consistently now. I cannot get there in time, and the messiest, wonkiest pull of one single mob that's ever existed just happened, and 2 ranged DPS had to help me out with the kicks both times. So what happens when you don't pull with Avenger Shield, man? It was down. And I am getting better as you get to pacing, right? As you start to sense that the final mob is going to die, or this pack is going to die, you say to yourself, I say to myself, what is the next pack? What spell do I want to pull it with? Is it the boss and I want to do a judgment pull? Is it a caster pack where I want to silence them and get them closer? Divine Toll pull, right? So it's something that I'm working on. So the Warlock is doing big damage, but they died to the skip. So there's that. And then I think they're the one that die here too. Like, I mean, this is very common. I waited for all the heals to be off of me, and now I'm over here. I could have right-clicked and canceled them. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the Warlock like started attacking them on the way over, so I don't think they know I don't think they know this game. But this is the strat. Now it's a little crazy depending on the affects. Like Sanguine, it makes it a little messy. It's like tornadoes. All the affects just make grouping up mobs like kind of weird. Look at this mob freaking out, doesn't know where to go, which is good. It's not attacking. But yeah, that Warlock I think died again. All those deaths of the Warlock. My guidance through the dungeon has been, I think, solid. It's what I do every time. And if this is a 15 or a 20, I'm still gonna do this route. I don't see much changing. Unlike Necrotic Wake, I have completely altered my route for Fortified. Actually, I think I have a very optimal route now. It's kind of like Mist, so it requires a Rogue or a Invis Pot or a Priest. But I'm very happy with my Necrotic route. I'm just trying to get to the route so that, like, you know, I have them memorized. They work for almost all the time. Sometimes there's like a 1-pack variation. But I just really want to get to the point where I'm doing 15s. They're completely memorized. And it's muscle memory, and then I'm just looking to optimize, right? It's like I know the route, I know when prides are coming, I know what comp we need, and then just doing it better and better and better, and then you'll be able to, or I'll be able to hopefully do, you know, high keys. Like I watch people doing 20s now, and they're like, yeah, yep, cool, we did the 20, and I'm like, oh my god, 20. Like I'm not. That still blows my mind to see people do a 20, but you know, at the same time, I pretty much know the route and the strats, and it's a bit of the group plus me being on point, completely on point, right, and supporting. And yeah, I'm liking this a lot so far with the progression. I think people are. I don't really follow the meta too much. I followed like the what's the best class videos when I was like first getting into this. So I didn't pick like the bottom, but you know, I'm very happy with Paladin as a tank. I think I've seen other people question its viability in the high keys, and well, we'll find out, won't we? I'm pretty sure if your group is on point, you're fine, but I'm not ready to make my guide yet. But what I would say is that we are quite tanky with our cooldowns up. They need to be planned. It's not infinite, whereas like bear tanks kind of have infinite tankiness from what I've kind of seen in a sense, right? With Iron Fur, you just like in Frenzy Regen, they just like keep it going. There's nothing to say you can't, right? It's not as big like a regular cooldown. But we're quite tanky if you do it right. But what we do lack is like CC, right? We don't have any like really hard CC. That's why I favor Hand of Justice, and I use the Fist of Justice talent. I think that's what it's called. I need Hammer of Justice back all the time because it's my only hard stun. And monks have Ring of Peace, and DHs have sigils, plus their trapping in prison was awesome. I wish I had in prison. You know, we don't have Thunderclap, but we kind of lack CC. So the way that you compensate for that, and you'll kind of see in my videos, is that I am very, very aware of what the group brings as CC because I lack it, right? So for me to push high keys, or even these mid keys, I'm like, okay, I would like a Hunter with Binding Shot. I would like a Resto Shaman with Cap Totem. I would like, you know, Warlocks have an AoE stun too. I would like CC when it's fortified super high, and I want to like, you know, let's Ice Trap this one and let's Sheep that one, right? And again, the Shaman with the Hex. I am just very, very aware as a tank of what other people can do to help me kite and survive, because on my own, I really can't, right? And I talented out of the Consecration, does a slow talent. That's useless. It's actually useless. You need Binding Shot. You're gonna need some like legit CC, and that's what I found so far as a paladin, is that I rely on my group quite a bit, but you rely on your group a lot anyway. But maybe something like a DH. I think a DH doesn't necessarily rely on their group as much, but it's still a team sport, right? As a demon hunter, you might be able to like Infernal Strike away, and then like do like a Grip Sigil and a Misery Sigil, which like fears them in place. But eventually you're gonna need the Binding Shot. Eventually you're gonna need the Cap Totem, the AoE, you know, like you have one AoE silence every, I don't know how long, 2 minutes, 1 minute, whatever the cooldown on sigils is. It's all about the group anyway. I'm just especially about the group more than anything else. So this is fairly unremarkable. What I would say at the, for me, hierarchy is that the spears, when those go down, they shoot out black fire. Those hurt a lot on fortified on a 12. See, I think I'm about to eat one. Yeah, so for me it's like 20% health, and I think for that LA Shaman it's like 40% of their health. So I am trying to assess like where those pulsing not get hit, and then face Diminuendo away, which is the frontal cone, and not take damage myself. But you'll see me get hit by it every once in a while, and then you'll see other people get really hit by it. So I just missed that frontal, but then I ate a bunch of damage. So I'm in kind of an awkward place, but and then the Resto Shaman got hit. I just don't want to send the frontal at everyone because it'll kill everyone, right? Doesn't matter how much healing you have if it one-shots you. And someone, yeah, see we're dying out here to the those black lions. And I tell people to wait because I did a run like this where I freaked out after. You see how long it took Pride to spawn? It's like a hot minute. And I just told them, I was like, after we kill the second angel, we wait. There's just a lot of waiting, you know? And that took me by surprise the first time I did this recently at a hierarchy. And I actually freaked out and pulled the third angel because I was like, oh, I guess I screwed something up. And I didn't. But anyway, yeah, expect like a big wait. Tell your group too if you feel like they don't know, because they might get overeager and pull it for you. Looking at you, demon hunters. Demon hunters are they're good, right? They're like very mobile, and they're always like kind of they're always a little ahead of the curve, and so they might try to pull it real quick to like speed it up, and it's like, you just killed us. So there's the spear. Popping all the things. Did Lust go down? I think they did. I didn't even say it, but yeah, I'm pretty sure Time Warp is out. Lust is up. And I speared her. Speared the old angel. And yeah, that's the sauce right there. Pretty much killed them before they... That's one phase that ad, right? Basically stunned it until it did one jump in the air and it was all over. I asked if anyone wants to do the spear, and all I got was people saying no. They were like, no. So even at the higher keys, I'm pretty sure it's my job to, as tank, to do the spear. I'd love to do the spear. I haven't missed a spear in a very long time. So I'll do it. However, if I just wanted to make it... Oh, look at that line. I bet that hurts. I've never seen that before. Yeah, I'm like seeing new mechanics. I feel like the graphics got updated or something like that every once in a while. I'll have to look at other runs. I feel like I've never seen that black line before, but now I see it between her and the bird, and now I see it between her and that beacon or whatever. I don't know. That seems new to me. But yeah, I mean, my job is route, you know. And the only thing I'll do sometimes is talk with like who's ever the highest IO there. Typically wants to kind of chat. Sometimes the healer maybe, but it's usually honestly just whoever has the highest IO, and is maybe it's their key or they're leading the group. It's like, you know, like it's their guild or something like that. I'll discuss when Pride is coming, but even if unfortunately, like even if they're discussing like, oh, you know, like this is a good way to do it, I kind of can't... Once I join a group, I kind of have the route, and I'll share it in MDT, and I'm not very flexible about changing it, because like I'm like, you know, I'm in looking for a group, and I'm like, oh, am I gonna do am I gonna push a Spires key today? Okay, cool. I'll look at my route, and I was like, cool, let's go do it. So I kind of have it in my mind already. So I'm not very malleable with changing it, which spoiler alert for the next video. This group more or less goes on, we time this obviously. This group goes on to do Sanguine 13, and they tell me, I forget who it is. I forget who says it. Someone says they're like, oh, we'd really like to have Pride for the third boss, but I think that was for Tyrannical. I don't think on Fortified it's that big a deal. And I was like, oh, I don't usually do it that way. And I tried to alter the route, and they even got me a rogue, which is great because it's just easier to have it. And yeah, because I had to change it on the fly, it didn't go perfectly. We still did a good job. Another spoiler alert for that video, but point being is like I'm not very good at changing the route on the fly. If I'm going to change the route, it takes me a long time of changing it, and I need to like really kind of pre-memorize it. I've gone into healer mode here just to stabilize, right? If we just don't want anyone to die. The bars were a little low. I'm looking at this Warlock, and I popped my Divine Shield. We're completely fine, but I wanted to just secure the win by healing, right? At this point, my DPS doesn't do anything. It's just if someone died, it would just make it a little bit squirrelier. So there it is. Spires 13. Oh, I'm sorry. Spires 12. We go to do Sanguine Depths 13 after this. We push it up a notch. And yeah, 1 month in, I got some anima. I don't really care. I don't even think there's much gear I would need from this place, if any. 1 month in, 13's on a Protection Paladin. No big deal, really. If the group's like 1,000 IO and whatever gear level that is, it's pretty chill. Get out there and do it. I'll see you on the next video.